Welcome, everybody. It's Sweet 16 and March Madness in college basketball, but we're looking and thinking about Major League Baseball, which is right around the corner. I'm joined once again with Mark Lathrop, our expert Major League Baseball handicapper, and he is back using his method of Sabermetrics to determine team total wins on the over and under per season. It's a great prop bet, and we're going to jump right into the AL West. Mark, first and foremost, glad to have you back on with us now. I know that the AL West has a team that is close to your heart, the Seattle Mariners. But with that being said, who do you think holds the advantage as far as team totals, and what would be a good lean for our viewers as far as cashing a ticket on the over and under for the team totals?
Well, thanks, Mike, for having me again. The AL West is interesting in that all the models project teams with 80 or more wins, and as you know, that's probably not going to happen. So the actual difference between the projection and the over/under market, the biggest one is actually the A's, which is pretty funny because they're picked to be in the basement of the AL West, but that doesn't surprise me that a Billy Beane team is constructed in a way that projects to be in more wins than the rest of the general public. That's just kind of his MO. Mm-hmm. If we start from the top, we have the Houston Astros, which kind of overperformed and were a year early last year. And so we have some players like Carlos Correa, Dallas Keuchel, who could take a step back this year. And their bar is set this year at 12 games higher than last year. So there's a slight lean to the under in the model for the Astros, even though they're still the favorite to win the division. And they could be under this total and still win this competitive division.
That's interesting. I also agree. Dallas Keuchel, he might take a step back. He had just a fabulous season last year. So right. you would lean maybe on the under for Houston.
I would, and the other Texas team has actually the strongest lean of any team in the AL West, and it's towards the under. And one of the reasons for that is the Sabermetrics models take age into consideration. So players like Sin Chu, Adrian Beltre are all, projected to have declines in their production. So, they're still picked to be a, above 500 team, but at 84.5 wins, they're going to come in under the betting total there, and that's my strongest play for the AL West this year.
Okay, now with the Los Angeles Angels, let me ask you, this is a team I think, Mark, has been underachieving for several years now. I just don't know I can't put my finger on it. I thought when Josh Hamilton went there, it would make a difference. That experiment didn't work. What are your thoughts on the Angels this year, and could this team possibly come out of the so-called abyss and just explode?
I think their chance of exploding is more of exploding apart. They have probably the best player in baseball, in my opinion, Mike Trout, and he is projected to put up 9 wins above replacement. That's way more than anybody else in the major leagues. So if anything happens to Mike Trout, the Angels are in real trouble. My issue with the Angels is roster construction. They're gonna run out Jared Weaver, who is projected again to be a replacement level player, and he's gonna go out every 5th day just because he makes a lot of money. Yeah. And unfortunately, they're kind of got an albatross contract with Albert Pujols too. So if anything, the Angels, at best, are going to be a 500 team, in my opinion. They're really thin on pitching rotation as far as the projected output is. So they've got Garrett Richards at the top, projected at 3 WAR, and then nobody else is picked to put up more than 2.
Yeah, and the Angels also, I think their middle reliever position is going to be struggling as well. How about the Seattle Mariners? And I know this is a team close to your heart, and they hold one of the best pitchers. He's done amazing for me, cashing tickets, and Felix Hernandez. Right. He's starting to get a little older. What is your feel on Seattle this year?
Well, Seattle is officially a pass in the model just because their projected wins are so close to their over-under number at 82.5. They have a chance to surprise some people, but they have Felix going every 5th day. Iwakuma is back. He was injured some of last year, and Paxton was injured too, which kind of derailed their season because they didn't have anybody to step into the holes, which is kind of a running theme with picking against teams that are shallow in pitching depth. There's nobody, waiting in the wings to come up if somebody gets injured. So I'm passing on them on the over/under, but I would not be surprised with what Jerry Tepito has done. Their ceiling or their floor has raised up a bit. So I don't think they will do as bad as last year, but I would wait a year to see how his changes play out before, really laying any money on the Mariners.
Okay, and if you could just recap Oakland, what were your thoughts on Oakland again, with the Billy Beane team, and this is obviously where this system was created.
Right, and Oakland projects to be around a 500 team, and they're just kind of the typical perennial 500 team with how they're put together. With Oakland, I think they have a pretty underrated outfield with Josh Reddick, and they brought over who was that? Chris Davis from Milwaukee. So their outfield is pretty decent. They've got Jesse Hahn, who actually I would not be surprised if he won 20 games this year. They're just not a very sexy team, but annoyingly enough, they're probably going to be a 500 team this year, which their bar is set at 75.5 games, and with the Angels and Houston and Seattle possibly struggling around that 500 mark too, I would not be surprised if they exceed that total.
Very interesting breakdown. Okay, viewers, you heard it. Mark Lathrop likes Texas as a lean on the under of 84.5 for the team total wins, so you can cash a ticket with that prop bet. Mark, thanks so much for being back with us. Next week, we're going to get back with you again, and we're going to break down another division in Major League Baseball. I'm looking forward to talking to you then, and I wish you well in the meantime, and beat the book if you're betting on the Sweet 16.
All right, thanks, Mike.